Hi, everybody. This is Larry Long with IDM, International Dispute Management. Welcome back to my channel. Today we have a special guest, Bill Smith from Firepoint Energy. And Firepoint has created a process of removing critical rare earth metals, which I call CREM, from coal waste and creating syngas, a synthetic gas, from the remaining waste. And so, Bill, welcome. And could you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your company?
Sure. I've kind of been in the green energy space since the 1990s, energy reducing lubricants to ethanol conversion technologies, producing ethanol from syngas. And what kind of kicked it all off was back when Hurricane Katrina hit, we knew we could grind up the houses and trees and turn them into syngas and turn the syngas either into electricity with turbines or into fuels. But I couldn't find a portable gas fire anywhere on the planet. I had a public company at the time, and I sent people everywhere looking. Anytime somebody said something about gas fire, I sent people out. And long story short, I closed the company, retired, and in 2017, I'm in California, and I set up a little company there, and I give out two business cards in San Jose. And a couple weeks later, this guy calls me and goes, "Why do I have your card?" I'm like, "I don't know. Why do I have your card?" I'm like, "I don't know. Who the hell are you?" And he said, "My name's Christian Juvan. Google me." Well, Christian said, I eat at this restaurant for 20 years at the same table. Your card was on my table. The only problem is I was in San Jose at the time and he was in Cupertino, about 30 odd miles away. And I had no clue how my card got from San Jose to Cupertino. Long story short, Christian was a plasma physicist and had built a 25 ton per day plasma gas fire. So we tried to acquire the company, restructure his company, and there were issues with some old shareholders. So long story short, I just kind of left it alone for a few years. 2020, somebody called me up about one of my Pubco shells, and long story short, we reactivated it. And then I went to those former shareholders in Adaptive Arc and said, "Hey, I'll swap you stock in a Pubco for your stock." And within a week or so, I controlled their company. And then 2021, we spent $1.5 million in engineering to go from 25 tons a day to 50 tons a day. And during that time, I got a call from some guys who are like, "Hey, can you do waste coal?" And we're like, "Sure, why? It's got rare earth elements." What's that? I mean, that's where I was at. So I started buying books and reading about hydrometallurgy and rare earths, and they were here in Pennsylvania. In fact, the coal company they worked with, Corsa Coal, just went bankrupt 3 or 4 months ago. So long story short, I came to PA. I started driving from Eastern PA up and down the entire state till I got to Nemacolin near West Virginia, and I went down into West Virginia collecting samples. And long story short, the state's full of rare earth elements. So my background is I'm just stupid enough to keep going, and I came to PA thinking I'd be here for a couple of weeks. That was March of last year, and I'm still here, and we're developing a 100-acre site here to convert waste coal into syngas to extract rare earths and make jet fuel. That's the Reader's Digest version.
Yeah, that's very
It's a
interesting.
mouthful.
Yeah, yeah. While I worked at EPA, I'm now retired. We did a lot of work with DOE, and a lot of what we were talking about was the circularity of the life cycle of the coal, and see how many times that we could reuse something.
Right.
And so we got into working with coal ash, it's CCR, coal combustion residual. And there's around about, and we estimate around about 140 million tons per year generated. So there's a lot there. So if we can take, and this is why I'm so interested in your process, is that if we can take the waste and we can turn it into rare earth metals and energy, uh, that's a big win for us, because the problem that we always had in doing a cleanup was how to fund it. Well, this funds itself.
Right.
So, and it provides the incentives that industry needs to do this, because the government's not going to be able to do it on its own.
Can't afford it.
That's just not going to happen. So, your process appears to complete that life cycle. But you know, have you considered um, the utility part of for as a source? So, because we're looking at, I think, what was it? There's over 300 different utilities, and if they generated 140 million tons a year, I mean, that's a lot of coal waste. And that would be, I mean, right now, some of the states that are requiring them, that I know some of the utilities are under administrative orders to landfill it. And
Right.
that's the waste. I mean, and that's not solving the problem. That's a Band-Aid on a broken arm. So
It's like shoving $100 bills down the toilet.
so that's the incentives. But okay, so a question, once the syngas is produced, what is the waste that's left after that?
Well, let me circle back for just a sec. I started looking into could we go to a coal power plant and take that coal, the ash, as it's coming out of the coal plant and crack it in? Because if I go up the hill here, for example, and I just pick up some cold waste coal, I will get about 23% of the minerals out. The Chinese figured out that if we heat up to about 1,000 degrees, the recovery rate goes to 98 to 100%. So while that ash and ore coming out of the coal power plant is still hot, that would be the time to crack it and pull those minerals out. The processes we're looking at are still the standard acids, ionic fluids, solvents, things like that, because it's the only system I've seen on the planet that you can do at scale. The Chinese are obviously doing it at scale enough that they're supplying most of the world with their rare earths. So there must be something to it. But going back to the syngas, when I started looking at these waste coal piles, it's because the guys in PA had told us there were rare earths in it. And what we have found over time is most of the rare earths are in the overburden and the underburden and more in the underburden as they're passing through the coal. So that while there's some in the coal, there's more in that waste that gets used to fill in valleys and stuff like that. So we have enough BTUs in most of these waste coal piles to run that through a plasma gasifier and convert that into a syngas, and then using a Fischer-Tropsch system, convert that syngas into synthetic jet fuel. And you talked about legislation earlier. We're actually talking with some reps now about potentially developing a bill that if we can use waste coal as an energy source and the resulting fuels or energy are clean as or cleaner than petroleum, that we should qualify for the same kind of green credits as anyone else. So we're in the process of doing that in PA. But back to what we're talking about is 1920s to 1940s, Germany converted lignite coal into gas, converted that gas into 97% of the fuel the nation used. They didn't have petroleum reserves. When the war ended, all that tech came to Penn State and to Texas A&M. They reverse engineered everything. They offered it to the oil companies who said, nah, as long as crude oil is 15 bucks a barrel less, we'll stick with crude oil. So we stayed a crude oil nation because we had plenty of oil and we could import plenty of oil. So every oil company today, though, has a synthetic fuel division. So producing energy, fuels, oils, and whatever from syngas is well-known science. Sasol in Africa still produces fuels from coal. And I believe that synthetic fuels would be the wave of I don't want to call it a wave, but the next venture in fuels without having to build refineries. We can turn all these little waste coal piles across the state or across the U.S. into refineries making synthetic fuels. And the other part we do is we run some of that syngas through turbines to make our own electricity. So we're grid independent. And then any excess power we have, we can either dump to an AI data center or we can dump it into Bitcoin mining. So we've become a full circular process. In fact, even the CO2 that comes out of the turbines can be recaptured, add hydrogen to it, and make more fuel.
Yeah, you mentioned lignite coal.
Yeah.
My research kind of shows that lignite had the least amount of rare earth metals than
Yes.
bitumen.
Yes.
So if you're taking any of these plants that was taking Appalachian coal, which generally tends to be
Bitumen.
bituminous, it's going to be even better.
Yeah. Oh, it is. And We tested the anthracite seam out in from like Wilkes-Barre down to Schuylkill last year, and honestly, they have less minerals than the bituminous seams. In fact, exponentially so. But we can make more jet fuel with the anthracite waste than we can with the bituminous. We need more bituminous to make the same amount of fuel. So we're getting ready to develop a site up in looks like Wilkes-Barre, 10 million tons of waste anthracite coal, and we'll convert that into jet fuel and pull out the minerals. But in 10 million tons, I have less minerals than I do in 4 million tons of bituminous, anthracite versus bituminous. So, it's just how this planet formed, I guess.
Yeah, well, the different sources of carbon they had, what, 100 million years ago.
Yeah,
So,
sit around and make diamonds and stuff like that.
well, if my viewers want to get a hold of you, what's a good contact? And
Um, well, you can email me, bsmith@firepoint.energy, and our website is firepoint.energy. And my cell phone is 570-728-5333. I'm an open book. People call me all the time. So,
well, I'm glad it was your phone number, not mine.
yeah.
But okay, well, thank you for your time, and I will put hopefully if the viewers have any comments, they'll put those in the comment section, and I will get back to you with those comments, and maybe we could do some more of these
Sure.
interviews as you go along and get some more information on the legislation as it develops.
Yeah.
So,
And that is going to be a key to it all. I mean, right now they're looking to start taking the subsidies and stuff away from solar and wind. So if they do that, you need synthetic fuel still, and you need synthetic power. And that's kind of where we come in. Just in the right place at the right time for once.
well, it only takes once.
That's right.
All right, well, thank you.